Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on the time that you're listening to this podcast. This is the Data and Potatoes podcast with me, Grace Musungu, where we talk about everything data and the potatoes. The potatoes is just the in-betweens, the challenges, the goods, the highs, and the lows that are everything else apart from the technical. So first things first, I want to thank you for subscribing to this channel. We made it to 100 subscribers, you guys. Thank you so much, because it was just the other day I was just here talking about the 44 of you, and then you guys decided to surprise me, and now we are at 100 subscribers. And I decided that now that we are at 100 subscribers, we need to do things a little bit differently here. Not to do, but you need to see something different. So looped in a designer, we have a new logo, guys. It's just me familiarizing myself with the editing of it so that I can have it on my thumbnail, on my YouTube, on my socials. So you're going to be seeing it. You know me, definitely. I celebrate every milestone, and so should you. And I'm going to make a big deal out of it. So you just wait. You'll see the social media post somewhere this week. And also, by the time you come to listen to the next episode, you're going to see some changes. Yeah, you're going to see a new logo and everything nice. So thank you so much for the 100 of you. I do not take it for granted that you are here. Thank you so much. So I hope you are having a better week than me, because I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. It's just been a long week mentally. So I'm just from applying for jobs, and I was using my other pair of glasses, and I was using that. Can you listen to that? I was using those glasses, meaning I was wearing them when I was on my computer. And in between just finishing applying and setting up and coming here, I cannot find those glasses for the life of me. And I wonder, am I growing old? Is this old age catching up with me? But anyway, before old age catches up, I want to introduce a new series. It's a very mini series. Probably it's going to have like 3 parts or 4 parts, where we are going to be talking about data portfolios. And here is where we talk about how you showcase your skills, what projects are supposed to be in your data portfolio, where should you host your data portfolio, what determines where you host your data portfolio, and what is a beginner-friendly the data project portfolio. And I want this series to be the series that I needed as a beginner, because when I was starting, I really did struggle to find projects that I could do and put in my portfolio. Because when you're starting, and maybe you've experienced this, maybe you've not experienced it, but if you have, I'd be interested to know what your experience was. So for me, when I had just arrived in data, there was no ChatGPT, so we were using something called Stack Overflow, something that you may not even know about it, because it's not as prominent as it was back then. So for those people who do not know what Stack Overflow is, it's where you used to go to find solutions to your problems. It's like a social media for techies. It's like another social media for techies. But now people talk about the problems they're encountering in their code, their projects, and then how to find them. But since ChatGPT came, it revolutionized every single thing. And people, I don't know if people still use Stack Overflow. I do. Guilty. I'm a creature of old habits. So I still visit Stack Overflow to do things. So when I had just arrived, I got to a point where I wanted to do projects, and I would go online to search for a project that I can be able to execute as a beginner, and I couldn't find a project. And sometimes I would watch a whole video of someone saying these are beginner friendly projects, and I will just be like, which beginner, but which beginner is able to do exceedingly abundantly like this? Which beginner is able to perform magic like this? But then it also, as now I've grown and progressed, I've realized that a lot of these people who make the videos on YouTube, they have a lot of experience, like 10-20 years of experience. Not all of them, most of them. And sometimes you can lose touch with what a beginner needs, and that's why there's that disparity and there's that gap. But worry no more, because for me, when I say beginner friendly, I mean beginner friendly portfolios. Because these videos, most of them, not all of them, because of course I haven't traversed the whole of YouTube, most of them I realize that they categorize them, this is just my thinking, there's beginner, where you just arrived. There's intermediate beginner, where you just arrived, but you've been here. And then there's the expert beginner, which now is what those videos are for. And then you end up being so confused. You end up feeling like you're lacking skills, because when you see those videos, you can be able to say, oh, I don't know that, so I need to learn that. Then you neglect whatever it is that you're learning, and then you run there to start learning another thing. And then while you're trying to work on that project, you've encountered something else that you don't know, and you make up your mind that you're going to do this. At the end of the day, you have a lot of incomplete skills. I'm not even going to call you half baked. You're like not baked at all, and you're stressed. And then 6 months are over, and you're feeling like you cannot quantify your skills. You've been here for 6 months, and now there's really nothing I can do. I can't even do a dashboard. I'll just relax. It's all part of the things. And then you realize that this one I mentioned the other time, you realize that everyone goes through that, by the way, that phase where you try to do a project because it's a tutorial. And I'm going to talk about tutorial hell, where you just fully depend on tutorials, which is not a good thing. You're supposed to also work on projects yourself, where now you're going there, you're trying to work on a solution. It's working on their computer, it's not working on their computer. When they say you need to have Python 3.7, and then you're there thinking, how do I even check that? And then now you have to go and look for a video that checks that, and then you have to come and pip install, and then it doesn't pip install, and then you have to go and look. I mean, it's all those chaos. They are beautiful. I like to call them very beautiful chaos, because they make us who we are right now. So I decided to make this series to be what I needed as a beginner, because my goal is, I've even written it on my socials, like especially on Medium. My goal is to evolve into who I needed as a beginner. So I'm going to make it in a way that it's very beginner friendly. And if you've subscribed to my SQL data newsletter, when I say something is beginner friendly, I mean something is beginner friendly. I can do diagrams if I have to. And before, by the way, you go very far, can you please go and post that dashboard? Yes. Yeah. I'm talking to you. Can you go and release that dashboard from your computer? Yeah, you see that dashboard that you made that doesn't look like the dashboard you had in mind, and then you're too ashamed and too embarrassed to post it, because the world is full of these cool dashboards that do miracles, that can even wash clothes if you're not careful. If you look into it really well, they can wash clothes. And then you look at yours and you say that you don't want to post. Please go and post that dashboard. And if it makes you feel better, I'm going to attach my very first dashboard that I did, which was not the best, and I am sure you have a better dashboard than this dashboard. So please go and release that dashboard, because that's how you're going to grow. Okay? And I told you today we have a lot to talk about, and in the spirit of that, actually, there's this course offering platform. It's called Maven Analytics. I am such a Maven Analytics girly. If it's about Maven Analytics, please wake me up at 3 a.m. And if that's too late, wake me up at 2 a.m. If it's anything related to Maven Analytics, please wake me up. So they're going to be running this one thing called Open Campus, where they're going to be, every course right there is going to be free. Every course is going to be accessible for you, and it's going to be free. And the offer is going to run from 21st October all the way to 31st October. So if you happen to watch this video before those dates, please set it in your alarm that you need to do those courses. You can do as much courses as you want, but because I've been there before, let me give you a small tour guide. So when you land there, if you've just arrived in data, maybe you've just been here 6 months and whatever, if you don't do any other course, because I am so sure you're not going to be able to do even 2 courses there, because their courses are very detailed and very lengthy, because they also do have projects inside. So there's no way you're going to do 2 courses there, because one course can be around 80 hours, 70 to like 80 hours there, or 60, depending on the one that you choose. So you're not going to be able to do 2. So let's manage our expectations so that you don't enter there with greed. So your chances are you're going to be able to finish 1 course. If you're disciplined, you're going to be able to finish 1 course. But there are also other courses that take shorter amount of time, and this is the course that I want you to focus on when you get there. And this one, mark my words, this is a course that is going to change the trajectory of your data analytics career completely. And if you do not manage to do any other course on Maven Analytics platform, please go and do a course called Thinking Like an Analyst. That is the course that made everything makes sense in data. It ties down everything you think you know about data right now so carefully, so detailed, like it makes everything just make sense. It's where you learn how to like question your data. What should you be looking for? They give you on communication, like how you're supposed to communicate with like different stakeholders, because when you're applying for jobs you see that a lot: stakeholder management, stakeholder communication. They have that inside there. They tell you, if you're communicating to this level of people, this is what they need. This is what they need, this is what they'd be interested in. It's such a lovely course. It's what makes you realize that data analytics is not, it's not just dashboards. You need to have strategic thinking, technical skills, communication skills, so that you can enter into this data analytics career with a lot of confidence. So if you don't manage to do any other course, please make sure you do thinking like an analyst, and then from there you can choose a course that you want to do. Basically, if you want to do visualization, again, go and take the Power BI course, because if you've been struggling with DAX and then you feel like DAX is not making sense, please go there and do that course. It's going to be free from the 21st to the 31st of October. Don't say I don't plug you in good things. And so because now we are doing the portfolio series, they also do projects. You're going to work on a project by the time you finish that project. So you're going to have a project for your data portfolio. Look at how things have just aligned. So that's why I'm telling you, if it's about Maven Analytics, please wake me up at 3 a.m. And if it's too late, 2 a.m. And if it's too late, we'll stay awake and wait for it. I have set up my alarm as well and a reminder. There's a course that I want to do there. I want to do Python for data analytics, but also I want to do Excel for data analytics. So I'm just like, I'm thinking about it. I'm still thinking about it. But by the time it's 21st October, I will have decided on what I want to take. So what course will you be doing from Maven Analytics? And they also do have a platform where you can host your data portfolio. So you're not only just reading, but you also have another place to do that. So yeah, there's that. I thought I should just plug you and let you know about that, so that if you've been there confused, be confused no more. So as I was telling you now, back to this thing that you're talking about, we're going to be doing a mini series on data portfolios, and I'm going to be answering a lot of questions from you, and also the questions that I think you might have asked, and also a lot of questions that I think might benefit you. So for me, for starts, I have 3 portfolios, because data is not just about the dashboard. The dashboard is just like a part of data analytics. It is important, but it's not the only thing. So I have 3 data portfolios. The data portfolio that represents who I was, the data portfolio that represents who I am right now, and then the data portfolio that represents who I want to be in the future. And I'll walk you through those portfolios, and you don't need them. For me, it's just an explanation as to why I have them. And also during this series, I want you to apply a lot of critical thinking. You don't have to copy and paste everything from a journey. You can just pick whatever it is that works with you and resonates with where you are at right now at your own journey. So you don't have to have 3 data portfolios, for example. And I'll tell you why. So when I had just arrived, when I was a newbie, completely newbie, green, I did one portfolio. I had one portfolio I had hosted it on Wix.com. So I liked it. I liked how it looks like. I'm going to attach it here. It really looks beautiful, because Wix is all about aesthetics. But I realized that the functionality was not too good, and also it took so much time to load. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was on the free version. So it took so much time to load that data portfolio. And because when you're doing data portfolio, and this is going to be an episode of its own, is you are writing for people. It's people who are going to consume the content that is in your data portfolio, whether it's a recruiter, whether it's another data analyst that is looking for something. There's always going to be someone at the other end. So when you're making a portfolio and when you're choosing where to host your portfolio, that should be in your mind. Okay. So I was just thinking about it, and I was like, if I was a recruiter, would I wait this long for a project to load? And I said no. So I decided to look for other things. So I did it. it was not allowing me. Another thing is it was not allowing me to like write lengthy things and like explain my projects really well. So like I had to host the projects there, but also link them outside. And you see, that's a lot of work, because one, you have to click that portfolio from my LinkedIn, and then you have to go to Wix. And when you get to my Wix, now you have to click outside and go and read that portfolio in detail, and then now come back, whether it's on GitHub or whatever. So for me, I wanted to minimize that. That's a lot of work to do. That's a lot of moving. So I wanted a one-stop shop where every time you click on something, you come to that website, you read every single thing, like you just read the project in its entirety without having to leave the site where I've hosted. So that's where I now landed. I came across Marvin Analytics. So when I came across Marvin Analytics, my skills had grown. I had learned to do so many things at that very moment. And so I felt like I needed now a portfolio that represents who I am. So what I did was I did not delete the Wix project, because I like to keep these projects so that when I look back, I can see the progress and I can see the growth. That's why I keep on saying that there's no shame in your first data dashboard. There's really no shame. It could have very weird colors, and it's okay. That is where you are at in your journey. And there's so much grace for beginners. Like there's grace to be a beginner. There are so many things that you can get away with as a beginner that someone else may not get away with when they are at their level. For example, right now, if you did a dashboard that had greens and yellows and all the colors, like it looked like a rainbow, nobody would question you. But if Alex the analyst is that analyst that also has a YouTube channel that does I mean, if you're in data, you really need to know Alex the analyst. But if you don't worry, in this series you're also going to talk about him. So if Alex the analyst did that, he will not have the luxury to do that because of where he's at right now, his skill level, and how people are looking at him. So that's what I'm saying. There's grace to be a beginner, and you need to embrace the confusion and the chaos that come with being a beginner. So now I went to Marvin Analytics, and then I did some projects right there. I had I had done some courses from Marvin Analytics. My dashboards were finally looking really great. And so I was like, yeah, these projects really deserve to be on this portfolio. And so I hosted them there. And then along the way, because they were from everywhere, I have a project there for fleet analysis, there's real estate, there's sales, they were just like everywhere. And then along the way, I realized that I really do love projects that focus on financial analysis. And maybe in future, maybe not now, but in future, I would really love to work in finance. I would love to contribute my data skills, data science, AI skills to finance. So I made another portfolio, which is not public yet because I'm still working on the projects inside there. So I decided to make another portfolio that just has financial projects only. And then on Marvin Analytics is where I put every project that I feel like doing. And then I have Medium. Yeah, I also do articles on Medium because I love writing. So I document my journey as well there. You can check me out on Medium as well, on Grace Musungu. And then this one is a very new addition to my portfolio collections. I do a data newsletter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right now we are actually doing 100 days of SQL. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please sign up. The link is just going to be in the description box. So what determines where I am going to host my portfolio? Why Marvin Analytics and not GitHub? Like why would I do a data newsletter and not these other things? So I'm just going to share my own experience, which I'm saying that you don't have to take it as gospel truth. It's just what is working for me, and it is my reason as to why I do this. So in tech, when I came in tech, I felt like other people had advanced, which you shouldn't feel like that. So I was looking for ways that would make me stand out easily. So I decided, what am I good at already initially before I came to tech? So I was good at writing. Okay, I have a print media degree as well. So I was good at writing. So I had been trained to write, and I know how to write. So when I was looking for a place that can host my portfolio, I was looking for somewhere where that writing skill that I have, or gift that I have, can fit in really nicely. So in GitHub, for me, it was like, no, I am not going to do that because I'm not collaborating with anyone in my projects. So I will have to like screenshot a dashboard and then take it to like Nini, because it's not Python, because some of my projects are not Python related, so I can't like push, I can't do all those pushing, committing, and all that jazz. So I decided to like go where I felt like I had an advantage. So I already had pre-existing skills, which is like writing skills. So I was like, yeah, Medium is going to be a great place for me to document my projects. And so I started on Medium. At that time, I had not even seen or known that there's anything like hosting projects, like people host projects like somewhere. So for me, I was just like documenting them on Medium. And I really like Medium because it also has places where you can put code there, like you can just attach code on Medium and people can find it beneficial. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to put it here because it's going to allow me to write the way that I want to write, and it's giving me the visibility that I really do need at that very moment. So that's what informed my initial decision to have my portfolio on Medium, because I know how to write. So I had written technically before. I had done technical writing before. Maybe not for data, but I had done technical writing before. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it on Medium. So that's what informed that. So along the way, now when you're using LinkedIn, you see people like, oh, here's a link to my portfolio. And then, yeah, you click, you say, oh, this is nice. This can be a great addition to it. So like I added now my projects to Marvin Analytics. No, I added my projects now to Wix. I was like, I need a data portfolio. So because I had used Wix before, I was like, yeah, let me use Wix because I'm familiar with this tool and it's also aesthetically pleasing. And then I started doing that. And then along the way, I realized, oh, it's actually not just about aesthetics. It's also about functionality. So because of those reasons that I have mentioned earlier in this video. So, and then one day I was just perusing through LinkedIn and someone had shared their portfolio and they had hosted it on Marvin Analytics and it was free to host there. So I went and hosted my portfolio on Marvin Analytics, and then that's how I was able to also pay and do a course from Marvin Analytics. And I can never shut up about that Marvin Analytics platform. You really need to go there and do a course there. I am telling you, it is worth your money. And also, if you're into financial analysis, I also have another platform, which I'm also going to be talking about as we talk about if your portfolio should have a niche or it should not have a niche. So if you don't take anything else from the episode today, I want you to know that as you are writing your portfolio, as you're writing your projects, just know that it is a human being who is going to read. So have it in your mind that you're writing to a person. You're not writing to a computer. It's not a computer that is going to go through your portfolio. It is a person. And that person could be a recruiter. That person could be a recruiter. That person could be another person in data analytics. It could be just someone who is also studying the data, who's just like getting in data. So have that in mind, that it's a person that is going to go through your projects. What that means is, do not be afraid to put your personality in your projects. Don't be afraid to crack a little joke if you're funny, even if you're not funny, even if you want to put a dry joke there. Do not be afraid to put your personality. Let your personality shine. Let it like lead the way. That is what makes you different. Whatever it is that makes you different, it is by being you. The only way to be different is to be you. And for you to be you, you have to tap into the God-given things. And one of those things is personality, which everybody has. So don't try so much to be like someone else so that you neglect who you are. Your project portfolio should be exciting. Not to anybody else, but it should be exciting to you. It is where you get to work on projects. It's like, for me, I call it a dreamland. It is where you can dream as big as you've wanted to be. Like if you've ever wanted to work with an airline company and you don't have the chance yet, it is where you can actually assume that you are a junior data analyst at like Emirates or Etihad or whatever airline that you want, and do a project for them, not for them really, but do a project that is aligned to who you want to be. You can dream so big there. You can do exciting projects, like you can tap into the things that you like the most, because that's how you don't procrastinate in projects. Because remember, why I'm saying that you should do projects that excite you, it is because when a project excites you, you're willing to go above and beyond. You're willing to be so curious in your projects. You're willing to do the most so that the project, you won't just stop at bare minimum. If you like music, and I'm going to show you a project of someone that I know who did a project on Spotify later on, so don't worry. So if you like music, this is your chance to do a project, a data analytics projects that merges the world of music and data. If you love agriculture, this is your chance to do a project that merges the world of agriculture, merges the world of agriculture with data. If you're into sales and marketing, this is your chance to merge whatever world that you're in with data. If you're transitioning from media and you are passionate about media, this is where projects like fake news detection should be making appearances, because it's what you love. And the reason as to why I'm saying that is because you are, when the time comes and now you're doing your interviews, you're going to have to talk about your project. You're going to have to explain your project. And if it's something that you did, if it's a project that you did just because you saw someone else do it and you don't like it, you're going to have a hard time to even remember the projects that you did. But if it's a project that you really loved doing, you're going to have an easier time explaining the project. That is why it is important to also do real world projects, even if you are like a beginner. And I'm going to give you, maybe in the next episode or the episode after that, I'm going to give you projects that you can, an idea. You don't necessarily have to like execute them, but it's projects from the things that you're doing every single day. It's projects from shows that you're watching. It's projects from the platforms, the music stream platforms that you're consuming, like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all those things. And I'm going to give you projects that you can work on as a beginner and from like a beginner perspective, and then you can grow from that point. So that's why I'm insisting that the projects that you're doing should be very exciting to you. They don't have to make sense to us or everybody else. And you know, when you're starting, you're obviously not looking for a role. You just arrived, so you're not looking for a role. So this is your chance to work with a data set from everywhere, like anything that you can think about, be it insurance, be it real estate, be it marketing, be it healthcare, whatever field that you can imagine. It's your time to work on these data sets, because once you try all these data sets and you work with data from all these fields and you spend time with that data, somehow, without even someone giving you a guidebook on how to find a niche, you will find the things that you are more inclined to, and also the things that you have a lot of proclivity to, and you're leaning towards them so much, and you are going to find the niche comes naturally. Whether you need to specify, the need to specify, let that not pressure you when you're starting. It's going to come, and it's not something that you are taught by anybody. It's something that it's a decision that you arrive from working with all these data sets and all these things, and then one day you realize that I actually like working with aviation data sets more, or I actually like working with healthcare data sets more, or I like working with marketing and sales data sets more. But you're not going to arrive to that by watching 100 videos telling you how to find a specification in data or how to niche down. You're going to find that by you yourself taking responsibility and working on the projects that you're working on right now, and finding the things that makes your heart beat more, the projects that you want to go extra miles for. So by the end of this YouTube video, not a YouTube video, by the end of this series, you're going to have projects that you can work on, real life projects. Some of them I've worked on them and I have documented them, so you're going to follow that through. Others are from friends, because I'm also talking to people so that I can make this series to be very beneficial. Others are projects that other people have done. Yeah, these are also projects that other people have done and they have really documented them. So all these questions are going to be answered here. What project should you be in your portfolio? Should you just have one type of projects in your portfolio? What what informs these decisions. Okay, so I am going to be talking about that and how you can also cast your net very wide. And in that connection and in the spirit of this data portfolio series, I'm also working on 2 projects. I think those are like the last 2 dashboards that I want to do by the end of this year. They are end-to-end projects. I'm not going to tell you more about them right now, but I will as I continue working on them. And they are challenging me, but they are very exciting, and I'm very excited to do them. One is for a show that I really love, and another one is for a YouTube channel that I also love. Do you get what I'm saying now? That's the attitude that you should be having. Because when you work on projects that you like, you go extra miles and extra lengths. And when you find a project, you find a challenge in your project, you are willing to, like, find a solution. But sasa, kama like your project portfolio, like every time you pick up your laptop to do a project, you're doing a Sri Lanka attrition rate for employees, or salaries for people for data analysts in Sri Lanka, and you're all the way in Kenya. You see, you're not going to find joy in doing these projects because, one, the salary rate in Sri Lanka, I don't even know the salary rate there. The salary rate in Sri Lanka, first of all, doesn't concern you. Number 2, you're not even planning to go to Sri Lanka, to work there. So why should it concern you? That's why when you're doing project portfolios, you should look at the things that are affecting you on a day-to-day life. It could be shows that you're watching, it, even if they're made in America or in India or in Nigeria. These are shows that you're watching and you're consuming. So this is something that is you're like a direct consumer, and that is what means. And if you've been struggling to find real world projects that you can be doing in your data portfolio, your search for a real world project has come to an end, because it is in this series where I will only talk about real world projects that you can have in your portfolio, and they range all the way from beginner to expert beginner. But I will be specifying and how you, like, the skills that you need to do to be able to be comfortable in that. So this is just the introduction, and to kind of set an expectation of what you need to be expecting in this series. For me right now, from where I'm standing, it should have like 3 parts, or I don't want to stretch it too much. It should have 3 parts, but depending on how I see things, I'm going to decide, because I also do not want to do like a project overload. So, and in that, I'm also going to be talking about building in public and the shame that comes with building in public. And I want you to release yourself from the shackles of what people will think. So 3 things that you're supposed to take from this channel today, from the YouTube video today. Even if you don't take anything else from me today, I hope you, 1, go and release that dashboard that you're so ashamed of sharing. Nobody cares that much. The reason as to why you share your dashboard is because growth and there's grace for beginners. So even if your dashboard looks like how nobody cares, people are supportive. Nobody's going to stop and like laugh at you or like ridicule you. If anything, you're going to get unsolicited advice that you can use. Because one thing about the tech community, you're gonna get unsolicited advice, whether you asked for it or you did not ask for it. So you can use it for your advantage. You're going to find someone who tells you, next time do this, next time do that, next time do this, next time do that. And that is how you're going to grow. Number 2, you need to know that Marvin Analytics are going to run an open campus from 21st to 31st of October. So if you watch this video before then, please go and check Marvin Analytics. I'm going to link their website down below, and they do really great courses. And if you don't do any other course, please do Thinking Like an Analyst. It should be like a 1 hour something course or like a 2 hour course somewhere there. You should go and do that course, because it will change how you look at data analytics. It will disrupt your whole DNA of data analytics. If you don't listen to me about anything else, go and do that course. You will start looking at your projects differently. You will start looking at data differently. You will start looking at data sets differently. I am telling you, without fear of contradiction, your life will never be the same again. Like your data analytics life, I don't know about your personal life, but your data analytics life is not going to be the same again. So you can do that course, and also take another course, because you're not going to be able to do 2 courses because of the intensity and the detail that they go in. So you're just going to be doing 1 course. Yeah, so if you wanted to learn to have certification on MySQL, this is your chance. If you wanted a certification on Python, your chance as well. If you wanted to learn Power BI, it is also your chance. And also take it as a chance to go and do Power BI, because now that dashboards are like the brand ambassadors, they're like the brand ambassadors of data analytics, which they're not like the only thing in data analytics. You can also do that Power BI. That is if you didn't know any course that you are going to take there. Do a Power BI course with them. I am telling you, hey, I wish I could just come to you and convince you one by one, because I have used them. I have used that platform, and I am telling you, I am like, once you go Maven Analytics, you can never go back. Like, your skills will never, ever, ever be the same again. So if you've been there, you've been thinking, oh, I want to learn Power BI, but then the YouTube videos are scattered everywhere. Now they've put them together, and you are going to work on a project, and then you're going to get a certificate, of which the certificate is even like the bare minimum compared to the skill level and the value you're going to get from that. So if you don't take anything else from here, so imagine, suppose now you don't want to share your dashboard. Okay, now when you go there, take those courses. If you don't know what you're going to do that Power BI course and thinking like an analyst. If you know what to do, go and look for a course there that you're going to do. And number 3, always remember that you're writing for people. So we have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, do have a lovely week ahead, and look out for those projects that I'm going to be doing.